Hello and welcome, my name is Gary Maclean, I'm Scotland's national chef and welcome to my home here in Glasgow. So I've been working with the Chicago Scots and trying to bring a wee bit of Scotland to Chicago through these sort of crazy times that we're going through. So I'm doing a couple of videos. This video here I'm doing is probably Scotland's most famous dessert. It's called Cranachan. It's the most simplest thing ever to make, but the amount of times I see chefs here and in the US messing it up is unreal. It's really simple, it's a great thing to be making at home, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing we have to do is we have to toast some oats. So I've got some steel cut oats here, but you can use rolled oats, breakfast oats, anything you want. So I'm going to pop some oats into a pan. And we just want to get some heat in there, get them toasting. And you don't really want to change them, you don't want to change the colour or anything, but be careful here because this will get hot without you really knowing. So we're going to let that tick away. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to take some heavy cream, or double cream as we call it in Scotland, and just pop that into a little bowl. And I'm just going to start to whisk the cream. And what I'm looking to do with the cream is to semi-whip it. So you don't want it too far, because it can split really easily and turn into butter. And I'm making enough here for two good portions. We'll give the oats a wee shoogle. And you'll be able to smell them, it's quite a musty, kind of dry smell you get. But you don't want any colour on there. Right. So, the other ingredients that we need for this is raspberries. And raspberries, we in Scotland, we grow a lot of soft fruit, particularly in the summer. And the reason we're kind of so famous for soft fruit is the amount of daylight we get. It's not particularly hot, but in the summer, you know, we can only, some nights is only dark about 3 hours. So loads and loads of daylight as opposed to heat really helps soft fruit like raspberries, brambles and strawberries. So that's a big ingredient. Another equally big ingredient is heather honey. So we've got some really nice local Heather Hills Farm honey, which is one of my favourites. And of course, it wouldn't be Cranachan without whiskey. So we've toasted the oats. I'm going to keep it on the heat and add lovely heather honey. You can hear that noise. I'm just going to add next some whiskey. Don't be shy with the whiskey. There's a good measure in there. So I've just flamed the whiskey, but just be careful it doesn't stay because it can actually sometimes set the oats on fire once the alcohol is gone. So here's a top tip. If you are making Cranachan, make this early on in the process because it takes about an hour to cool. So you have to make sure it's at room temperature before you take it any further. I have made one earlier. So we'll leave that to the side. This is one I made earlier. It's the exact same process except it's now at room temperature. If it's too hot, it will melt the heavy cream. So see that? Just hanging on the whisk and no more. move that out of the way. We'll move our whiskey out of the way. So, and the reason we semi-whip it is so that we've got some room, or some more stirs in it before it splits. Again, I had to write a recipe specifically for this because it's something that I've never had to recipe before because it's so simple. So the oats, the honey, and the whiskey is in. We're going to add in our raspberries. We'll save a couple for the end. And what we want to do, to a degree, we want to just let them break in a little bit, but not too much. We don't want it being red, but we want little flakes of red going through it. You can see that. There we go. And move the honey. We're going to use that in a minute. We're going to take a couple of glasses. We'll grab a wee spoon. So this is traditionally served all over Scotland at Hogmanay, or at the Bells as I call it, or what we call it in Glasgow. But I was never, as a chef and I love following the seasons, and we don't have raspberries, Scottish raspberries at that time of year, so it's always kind of puzzled me as to why it became that kind of dish. I can only presume that it would have been some sort of preserve, some raspberry preserve. So I've got a little bit of the oats left. I'm just going to, to show some of the ingredients, and just to pop on a few raspberries. So, as I say, I've had connections with Chicago Scots for 20 years. I had the pleasure of being part of a fundraiser 20 years ago, and I did some Scottish demonstrations at Navy Pier. And it was funny, actually. I was wearing a Cubs hat the other day that I got in Chicago 20 years ago, but I wasn't sure if there's any divide in Chicago with baseball clubs, so I thought I'd better not wear it. But not that I'm a baseball fan, but I did like the Cubs, probably because they run Back to the Future. Laura, would you like a raspberry?
Okay.
There's my daughter, she's doing the filming. Alright, and there we have it, traditional Scottish Cranachan from Scotland's national chef. Hope to see you all soon. Stay safe and have an amazing celebration. Thank you. Bye bye.